Two babies born conjoined, a life-or-death surgery shakes the entire city.
Hello everyone, enjoy these relaxing moments while you watch.
A stormy night in the village of Redwood Hills. The wind howled in gusts that tore through the sky. Lightning streaked across thatched roofs, splitting the damp earth of the remote, impoverished countryside. At the far end of the village, an abandoned pigsty echoed with screams. Not animal screams. Human ones. A woman, locked in a battle with her own womb. Eh. Her throat-shredding scream rang out amid the thunder, followed by the scent of blood rising from the rotting straw. A gaunt body, dressed in torn clothes soaked in rain and blood, lay sprawled in a manure trough. Her belly was swollen, purple-streaked. Her eyes were glassy. Her hair clumped into tangled patches. Anna, the madwoman of Redwood Hills, was giving birth. No one came to help. "Please, spare my child," she sobbed through waves of pain, clutching her belly. Outside, the church bells rang out through the storm. Farther away, dogs barked, people shouted as roofs were blown off. No one heard her. No one knew she was in labor. No one considered her human. A baby's wail pierced the muddy night. Then another. Strangely, the two cries overlapped. Nearly synchronized. One breath. One contraction. No, it can't be. Anna dragged her hand, fumbling for the slippery sack, trembling as she lifted the child. But what she saw made her scream. Two babies. One womb. Conjoined. A strip of flesh stretched between the two fragile bodies, as if sewn together with tendon. No. Not like this. Give my babies back. Don't let him kill them. Don't let him come. Anna shrieked, cradling the two newborns to her chest, crying, howling like a mother beast about to be gunned down. Outside, footsteps squelched through the mud. "Dear God, is someone in there?" came a man's voice. It was Lewis Carter, the village's elderly schoolteacher, walking home after repairing a school window. "Hello." Lewis turned on his flashlight. The beam swept across the pigsty doorway. He froze. His breath caught in his throat. Anna, blood-soaked, sat in the manure trough, clutching two red, conjoined newborns fused at the belly like creatures from a grotesque fairy tale. Holy Lord, Lewis staggered back. "Anna. You gave birth?" "They. Don't call anyone. Don't take them away. He mustn't know." Anna screamed, charging at him with wild eyes. "William. He's coming. He'll kill them. I don't understand. You need a doctor." Lewis, hands shaking, pulled out his phone and called the police. There's a woman. Anna, Lorenzo's daughter, she just gave birth in the pigsty, two babies, deformed, conjoined. Less than 15 minutes later, sirens wailed as police cars and ambulances sped in. Flashing lights lit up the decaying structure. Villagers gathered, holding umbrellas, whispering, then gasping in horror. St. Mary's preschool. She gave birth to monsters. That's not human. It's a punishment from God. Janet, the closest neighbor, shuddered. She was in the psych ward before. Set her father's house on fire. Now this? Birthing in a pigsty? It's all karma. Police officers pushed the crowd back. "Ms. Anna, put the baby down." "Give me your hand," an officer named Inspector Anderson said, voice calm but ready to act. "No. They're mine. I know what you want to do." Anna sobbed. A nurse, Lucy Morgan, rushed in and injected her with a sedative as Anna screamed, "No. Don't let him come." Anna collapsed unconscious. The two infants were wrapped in sterile blankets. A young doctor, Dr. Evan Nelson, examined them and gasped. Two hearts. One liver. Sharing the same aorta. I've never seen a case like this. Names? A nurse asked. No records. No birth certificates. Log it temporarily as case G24. Transfer them to the provincial hospital immediately. As the ambulance sped into the night, Anna was handcuffed and transferred to Ridgeview Psychiatric Center. The next morning. Mayor William Grant's office. You're her cousin, correct? Reporter Teresa Davis asked, placing a voice recorder on the desk. William smiled, adjusting his tie. I'm deeply saddened. Anna is family. But her psychosis, there's no saving her. It's hereditary, from her mother. A family tragedy. I once committed her for treatment. But, she escaped. And now. God. Those children. I just hope for the best. Do you plan to adopt them? William slowly shook his head. As mayor and factory owner, I must remain objective. I'll fund the medical care, but I can't get personally involved. I trust the healthcare system to do what's right. But what's the truth? Anna wasn't insane. There was no hereditary madness. William, the model uncle and mayor, had raped her repeatedly over 11 months in the basement of his mansion. She was injected with hormones. Experimented on. Made into a vessel for a biological trial. We must see what kind of offspring a psychotic mother breeds, William once whispered into her ear, right after raping her and pulling the syringe from her thigh. You're not a person. You're a specimen. A test tube that screams. As her belly grew, William planned an early surgery to terminate and preserve the organs for research. But Anna escaped. One night. Barehanded. Pregnant. No shoes. She ran to the old pigsty on her father's land, once a safe haven of her childhood. Once home to squealing piglets under the sun. Now, it became the birthplace of two conjoined souls. At Springfield County Hospital. Case G24 was placed in an isolated neonatal room. No holding. No touching, said Chief Pediatrician Dr. Samuel Caldwell. This is a high-risk case. Deformities. No long-term viability if separation isn't possible. The two infants, still unnamed, shivered with each breath. They didn't cry loud. Each breath was hesitant. As if they sensed they weren't wanted. Weren't loved. A young nurse, Isabel Harris, gently touched the glass. Poor things. It's like they already know, they weren't chosen to live. That evening. William arrived. He wore a suit, carried a leather bag, and walked straight into the hospital's medical board room. I'm offering $500,000. I want the twins separated quietly. No media. No ethical debates. If one must be chosen, pick the one with better odds. I trust your medical judgment. Dr. Caldwell leaned back, coldly asking, choose one. Who are you to decide who lives? William smiled calmly. I'm no one. Just a concerned relative. Trying to avoid scandal. For the greater good. You know how the media is, they smell blood. Redwood Hills Town Hall stood atop a gentle hill, overlooking the countryside like the watchful eye of God. But if anyone stepped into the mayor's third-floor office and sat silently in the shadows for a while, they'd realize, God wasn't there. Only a demon. Give me the report. I don't want the press finding any holes, William said, sipping strong whiskey, his left hand holding an unlit cigar. His secretary, Mary Evans, nervously placed a folder on his desk, a media roundup of the Child of Anna incident. The Liberty Tribune is starting to question things, but I've ordered them blocked from hospital access. Good. Those flies only need a crumb to swarm. William turned toward the window. His eyes gleamed. 18 months earlier. Anna was locked in the basement of the Grant estate. Damp walls. Low ceiling. No windows. A metal bed. A portable toilet. A dim, flickering yellow bulb. William opened the door and stepped down with a syringe and a glass of milk. Come here. Be good. You need today's hormone dose. You're at week 9. Anna recoiled to the corner of the bed, eyes filled with hatred and disgust. If you keep injecting me, I'll die. William chuckled. No, you'll make medical history. Do you know why I chose you over anyone else in the family? A child born from incest is the perfect genome to study what God forbids. God isn't here. You're a demon. Anna screamed, hurling the glass of milk at him. William didn't get angry. He wiped his face with a handkerchief, stepped closer, and gripped her throat. Yes. And this demon is your uncle. So don't forget we share the same blood. Don't test my patience. Present day. Springfield County Provincial Hospital. Medical Board Meeting Room. Dr. Samuel Caldwell tapped on the X-ray image displayed on the light board. They're conjoined from the lower abdomen to the hip. Sharing one liver, a portion of intestine, and the aorta. If we don't separate them, both will die. If we do, only one might survive. Is there any chance of saving both? Resident Dr. Claire asked. Survival rate is under 1%. And we don't have the specialized equipment like they do in New York. Dr. Isaac Reed, lead surgeon, shook his head. One will die on the operating table. But that's the only chance the other has. And if we do nothing? Claire pressed. They'll both die before the age of 2. Best to choose one. They have no paperwork. No legal parents. No one to sue. That line choked Claire. No one to sue. So killing becomes easier. At Ridgeview Psychiatric Center, where Anna was being held in the special ward. Head nurse Lauren Mitchell did her rounds. She'd seen true madness before. But Anna wasn't mad. Her eyes were clear. Fully conscious. And in so much pain, she was razor sharp. I want to call a lawyer. I want to see my children, Anna said, her voice hoarse. You're under psychiatric evaluation. No one believes you, Lauren sighed. He's the father. William. He did this. I'm begging you. There's a doctor named Claire. Tell her to do a blood test. DNA. Lauren turned away. But her lips pressed tightly. Something inside told her. Anna wasn't lying. Thomas stood stunned. Claire. Do you realize how dangerous this is? I don't care. If I stay silent, those babies will die. Not because of medicine. Because of politics. 3 nights later. Springfield County Hospital. Secure wing. William stepped out of a black car and shook hands with Chief Dr. Samuel Caldwell. Have we reached a decision? The board is leaning toward surgery. Good. I want it done within 7 days. I'll cover all costs, but I want it discreet. We're not hired killers. William smiled. No, you're doctors. But tell me this, if only one can be saved, isn't keeping both alive unethical? That's not why you want the surgery. You want to erase the evidence. William smirked and leaned in. Careful what you say. You have a daughter, don't you? Stephanie, 3rd grade. Cute girl. Dr. Caldwell clenched his fists. But said nothing more. Next morning. In the staff lounge. Claire knocked on Dr. Isaac Reed's office door. I want to be part of the surgical team if we proceed. You're not experienced enough. I'll work voluntarily. No pay. Just let me monitor the twins' vitals. Isaac stared at her, skeptical. You're risking your life. No. I'm trying to protect theirs. If no one stands up, they'll have no one. At the Liberty Tribune editorial office. A thick envelope was placed on journalist Michael Foster's desk. Inside, DNA test results. And a handwritten note. If you have a conscience, let the truth be heard. Special Neonatal Unit, Springfield County Hospital. Cold white neon light bathed the tiny bodies inside the incubator. Joined at the belly, they stirred weakly, as if unsure whether they were meant to exist. Isabel Harris, the night nurse, sat quietly behind the glass and whispered. I won't let anyone touch you. She knew they didn't have official names. In the files, they were just G24A and G24B, codes for a medical anomaly. They still have the grasp reflex. When I touch their fingers, they hold on. You see that? They want to live, Isabel said to resident Claire, standing behind her. And one might have to die for the other to survive, Claire murmured, eyes fixed on the heart monitor. A long beep startled her. But it was only a heartbeat irregularity. A few seconds later, the reading stabilized. Claire exhaled in relief. That afternoon's medical board meeting. Dr. Caldwell, Dr. Isaac Reed, Claire, head nurse Isabel Harris, and anesthesiologist Dr. Thomas Vance were all present. I'll be direct, Caldwell said. The twins cannot survive together much longer. The strain on their shared liver and aorta will cause full system collapse in a matter of months. But they're still alive now, Claire countered. They've made it past the first 3 weeks. No one believed they would. Dr. Claire, I understand your emotions. But this is science, not a miracle, Isaac interjected, flipping through the CT scans. If we don't separate, they both die. If we do, at least one has a chance. Isabel pressed her lips together, then asked. And who decides? Who chooses which child lives and which dies? Silence. Long and heavy. Caldwell finally answered. We'll choose the stronger one. G24B has better cardiac recovery potential and less dependency on liver function. And G24A? Claire asked, eyes reddening. We'll donate their organs. With dignity, Isaac said as if he were talking about a specimen, not a child. That night. At the cheap motel where Claire stayed. An anonymous letter was slipped under her door. Stop now. If you continue your investigation or leak anything, we can't guarantee your safety. Surgical accidents are easy to fabricate. Claire gripped the paper tightly. Outside, the rev of a motorcycle echoed then fell silent. She stood, shut all the windows, bolted the doors, and breathed heavily. They're watching me. Next morning. William entered the hospital, no longer pretending to be virtuous. He strode into the boardroom without knocking. The scent of expensive cologne overpowered the antiseptic air. We're agreed, aren't we? Separate them. Choose one. No names. I'll wire the money tomorrow. Caldwell stood, spine straight. We need more time. This is a level 5 surgery. William scoffed, placing a USB on the table. Here's a list of every journalist who's ever written about Springfield County doctors, both praise and criticism. You might want to read it. Just in case misunderstandings occur. Isaac frowned. Is that a threat? No, it's a warning. If the surgery fails, the press might ask, why was a young doctor like Claire on the team? Why was an uncertified ICU nurse like Isabel in charge? Etc. Claire entered just then. Her voice rang clear. Because I'm the only one here who monitored those babies every day. I know when their heart's slow, when their pressure drops. William turned to her, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. Oh. Claire. Trying to be a hero? I don't need to be a hero. I just won't be an accomplice to murder. At the Liberty Tribune. Journalist Michael Foster received a handwritten letter delivered anonymously. Scrawled clearly in shaky script. I am Anna Grant. I am the mother of the 2 children. I was raped by my own uncle, William Grant, the current mayor. Michael called his editor. I need 2 days. I'm going to blow this place wide open. Staff lounge. Isabel looked at Claire, holding a cup of cold coffee. Do you think, if it were you, could you choose? Claire shook her head. I won't choose. I'm fighting so no one ever has to choose for them. Anesthesiologist Thomas Vance passed by, pausing to say. Claire, don't get in too deep. You know what William's capable of. She's their mother, Thomas. How can people close their eyes to that? Thomas lit a cigarette. Because opening them means we're responsible. And people fear that more than nightmares. In the hospital boardroom. William stood like a statesman, holding the surgical plan high. If the media keeps digging, the surgery will fail from pressure. We won't save lives, we'll kill the entire medical reputation of Springfield County. Chief Dr. Caldwell sighed. You plan to cover everything up? Even the fact that you're the biological father? William looked him dead in the eyes. If you say that outside this room, I'll make sure you not only lose your job, you lose your daughter. Claire suddenly spoke up. I won't stay silent. I won't. William turned and smiled. Dr. Claire, you're a smart woman. But intelligence isn't enough. Around here, whoever holds the power, writes the truth. That evening, at a private bar downtown, William met with a heavy-set man in a gray suit, his lawyer, Mr. Matthew Taylor. If the surgery is successful, then she'll have the right to claim her child. And potentially sue you, Matthew said. William smirked. Then we need to make sure of one thing: if the surgery fails, there'll be no one left to sue. Matthew glanced at him. What are you planning to do? I'm not doing anything. Medical accidents happen every day. Especially when the doctor is still young. Early morning. Inside Claire's office. The whiteboard was cluttered with notes, arterial diagrams, sketches of conjoined internal organs, 3D ultrasound images. Claire wrote on the board. Either both survive or neither does. If medicine chooses, it kills. If humanity chooses, it saves. A gloomy morning. Rain drizzled, blurring the long glass windows of the pediatric wing. Claire stood beside the incubator, her eyes fixed on the 2 infants. G24A and G24B. Behind her, Thomas Vance approached, a steaming cup of coffee in hand. You stayed up all night again. Couldn't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see a surgical scissor plunging between the 2 babies. Thomas set the cup on the table beside her and spoke softly. We're just doctors, Claire. Not God. Then who gave someone the right to play God? Claire replied, still staring at the blinking heart monitors. That afternoon. In the blood lab. Claire entered, cautious like a thief. In her hand were 3 test tubes, 2 from the babies, 1 from the blood donation bank. What are you doing? A voice asked from inside. It was Nicholas Benson, the lab technician. I need to compare samples. Urgently, Claire answered, expressionless. Emergency case? No. Emergency of conscience. He looked at her for a few seconds, then started the centrifuge. All right. But if anyone asks, I know nothing. Next morning. Claire sat in the on-call room, opening the results on her personal computer. Her eyes fixed on the last line. DNA, match 99.98%. Blood donor, William Grant. Comparison samples, G24A, G24B. She pushed back in her chair, covering her mouth, sweat trickling down her back. Oh God, she whispered. He really is their father. Immediately, Claire grabbed the USB containing the data and rushed into Chief Caldwell's office. You have to hear me out. Case G24. William is the biological father. I have the results. I tested a sample from the blood bank. He donated it himself. Caldwell snatched the file, his face turned pale. Claire, do you realize what you're saying? This is an accusation of incest. Rape. And we're talking about someone who's the mayor. Exactly. And he's funding the surgery to cover it up. If we don't act, we're accomplices. Caldwell closed the file and locked the office door. I believe you. But you need to be careful. If William finds out you have this, you'll be in danger. That night, Claire received a call from an unknown number. Dr. Claire. Yes, who's this? This is Peter Irving, medical inspector from the Regional Health Department. I've received information about a serious internal violation at your hospital. Can we meet? Tomorrow. 10 a.m. Riverfront Cafe, near the town square. Agreed. But the next morning, when Claire arrived, no one named Peter Irving showed up. Instead, on the bench was an envelope. No sender. No name. Inside was a photo, her apartment window pried open, belongings ransacked. And a note. Stay silent. Or end up in the post-op fatality due to medical error pile. Claire rushed home. Just like the photo showed, her desk overturned, hard drive dismantled, printed DNA results shredded. That night, in the abandoned chapel next to the hospital, Claire met Thomas and Isabel. I need your help. I have a backup copy of the DNA data on another USB. I'll send it to 3 newspapers, the Liberty Tribune, the Western Voice, and the Capital Ledger. If anything happens to me, the truth still gets out. Isabel nodded. I have a cousin at the Morning Record. I'll handle that side. Thomas took the USB, hesitant. You know there's no turning back after this. There was never a way back. Not from the start. Next morning, the hospital was in an uproar. 3 major newspapers simultaneously published. Mayor William Grant, biological father of 2 deformed infants. Shocking incest between uncle and niece, the truth behind the incubator glass. Medical ethics or politics? Case G24 and the battle for life. William hastily organized a press conference, his expression cold as steel. I have no biological connection to these 2 infants. These are malicious lies aimed at destroying my reputation and that of Springfield County Hospital. A reporter asked. Then would you agree to a public DNA test? William smiled faintly. Of course. If necessary. I have nothing to hide. That afternoon. Hospital director's office. William slammed the table, shouting. Who authorized a resident to access the blood bank? That's a serious violation. Claire stood upright, eyes locked on him. I was searching for the truth. What were you searching for, Mr. William? A grave for your own children. He stepped closer, whispering in her ear. You think you're doing the right thing? You're destabilizing the balance. And when people lose balance, they fall. Remember that. Caldwell stepped in. Claire will participate in the surgery. I approve it. And if you try to interfere, I'll submit the DNA results to the regional court. That night. In the prep room. Claire stood in front of the mirror, dressed in surgical scrubs. Isabel helped her with the mask, hands trembling. Are you sure? Yes. Today, I'm not just a doctor. I'm the one standing between 2 lives, keeping them from being chosen apart. Meanwhile, at Ridgeview Psychiatric Center. Anna sat writing, her hand shaking, blood dripping from her index finger. She wrote. If they operate, they'll kill. Not because of medical error, but because of human cruelty. Please save my children. She signed it. Lauren took the letter and slipped it into her coat pocket. I'll get it out. I promise. The surgery was scheduled for 3 days later. William called from his car, voice cold as ice. Is everything going according to plan? On the other end, an anonymous surgeon replied. If there's a complication during surgery, it will be documented as unavoidable medical outcome. The resident doctor will bear most of the blame. William chuckled. Good. After that, I'm leaving the country. For good. But no one takes my children. No one. Night fell over Springfield County. The sky pitch black, wind dry like desert air, howling across old rooftops. In a cramped third-floor apartment near the river, Claire sat alone in front of her computer screen, reviewing the organ diagrams of the 2 babies. Each detail hand-drawn. Red arteries like spider webs. Tiny notes in blue ink marking liver, heart, nerves. They're not just clinical cases, she whispered. They are life. Meanwhile, in the hospital parking lot, Thomas Vance had just left the operating room when he saw his car window smashed. Inside was a photo of his wife and 2 small children walking to school. He immediately called Claire. Claire, be careful. They're starting to target my family. You need to get your wife and kids out of Springfield County right now. Don't let them find your weak spot. What about you? I don't have anyone left to lose. Next morning. Director's office. Claire, Isabel, Caldwell, and 3 members of the medical board sat waiting. William arrived 10 minutes late. He walked in calmly, tossing a folder on the table. We can't keep going like this. The media's out of control. I demand Dr. Claire be suspended. Caldwell slammed the table. She's the only one who's understood the twins' condition from day one. If you want someone suspended, it better be for a medical reason, not a political one. William smiled. I have reasons. She leaked internal information. Tampered with medical records. And conducted an unauthorized DNA test. Claire stood up, voice firm. Then sue me. But don't expect me to stay quiet. The truth is already in the papers. And I've sent the data to the Humanitarian Physicians Alliance. You think they care? William narrowed his eyes. Trust me. That organization only exists to raise donations. No one dares touch me. I am William Grant. That night, Claire's apartment was broken into. When she returned, the door had been forced open. Her computer was gone. Her desk ransacked. The backup hard drive containing all data on case G24 had vanished. Claire stood in the wreckage, then collapsed onto the floor. On her pillow was a letter. Time, you understand, not every surgery is meant to save lives. Some are meant to erase them. The next day. In the hospital staff cafeteria. Isabel handed Claire a small pouch. I made a copy earlier. I figured something might happen. Claire looked at her, eyes brimming with tears. Thank you. I don't even know what to say. Say you'll survive that surgery. And keep both those babies alive. That afternoon. Outside Chief Caldwell's office. William was waiting, holding a black file, signaling Caldwell to step inside. The door closed. You have a daughter named Stephanie, don't you? 3rd grade, St. Isaac Elementary. Caldwell clenched his fist. Don't you dare say her name. I'm warning you. William placed a photo on the table, his daughter playing in the park. Clear shot. Unblurred. I didn't do anything. But I know. And the one who knows is always the most dangerous. The night before surgery. Claire sat in the prep room, reviewing the final surgical diagrams. Thomas walked in, holding 2 surgical gowns. You sure? I can take your place. No. They need me. Louis and Leon need me. Thomas nodded, patting her shoulder. If anything happens, I'll tell your mother you were the bravest person I ever knew. Claire gave a bittersweet smile. Tell her daughter didn't choose the easy road. She'll understand. At Ridgeview Psychiatric Center, Anna was suddenly sedated. Lauren found out during her night check. Who gave this patient an injection? Night nurse Joseph Matthews stammered. Orders from above. Said the patient was agitated, needed sedation before surgery day. Lauren gritted her teeth. There's no such note in the chart. Who signed it? Not sure. Signatures smudged, but it has the council's seal. Joseph whispered, then walked off. Lauren looked at Anna unconscious, cheeks damp with tears in her restless sleep. He's not just taking away her right to be a mother, he's taking away her voice. The media exploded with rumors about a mysterious charity surgery. The Western Voice ran a front-page headline. Life split in two, Springfield County's largest surgery looms. Who will live? Who will be chosen? William gave a brief phone interview. We don't comment on rumors. We only do what's best for the community. 11:47 p.m., night before surgery. Claire sat in the locker room, holding a scalpel in her hand. Her hand trembled not from fear, but from the knowledge that tomorrow would no longer be about medicine. Tomorrow. I'm not saving patients, she whispered. I'm saving souls. 6:17 a.m., Springfield County General Hospital. The high-level surgical unit glowed brightly. The air was thick, still. The hallway walls white and sterile, everything so clean it felt cold. Silence reigned, broken only by the hum of sterilization machines. Claire, in full scrubs, stood at the stainless steel table. Her hand rested on a number 10 scalpel. Beside her were Thomas Vance and Dr. Isaac Reed, officially assigned as lead surgeon. Steady breaths. Keep the rhythm, Isaac said mechanically. You don't need to remind me. I didn't come here to shake, Claire replied, eyes locked on the vitals monitor. Operating room 3. Two tiny bodies, Louis and Leon, lay on the sterile table. Both lightly anesthetized, their skin pale, pulses slow. A separate monitor blinked for each. Isabel checked the 4 lines, her voice low. Louis has the weaker heart but better reflexes. Leon's more dependent on the liver. Claire nodded. They're trying to live, together. Isaac interjected. And they can't continue like that. Today, one of them will be saved. No. Today, both must be saved. 8:02 a.m., outside the OR. William appeared in a white shirt and dark coat. He didn't go in, just stood in the hallway and shook hands with a stranger, Dr. Alan Carson, a last-minute consultant from New York. We're going with option 4. William asked quietly. Alan nodded. Quick separation. If the weaker one doesn't survive, we call it a natural complication. G24A gets priority. And the resident doctor? If she intervenes, I'll have medical grounds to remove her from the team. William smiled faintly. Good. She's talented but far too naive. 8:37 a.m., Ridgeview Psychiatric Center. Anna opened her eyes. Her mouth was bitter. Head spinning. One hand was strapped to the bed with leather. She was alone in the room. She screamed hoarsely. Lauren? Someone? I need to see my babies. They're going to kill them. No answer. A speaker crackled. Patient G13A will remain in isolation for 48 hours per treatment protocol. Anna sobbed. Claire, don't let him kill them, don't let. She choked back tears. Then whispered. Leon. Louis, don't sleep, my babies, don't sleep. 9:01 a.m., in the OR. Claire watched as Isaac marked the first incision line. We begin with the liver. Thomas, at the anesthesia station, spoke. Leon's heart rate is dropping down 2 bpm per minute. Claire, stay close. Claire stepped forward, guiding the ultrasound probe across the infant's belly. Blood flow is stable. If we separate quickly, Leon might not survive the shock. Isaac glanced at her. We have no choice. There is a choice. We go slow, precise, keep them both alive. Or did you forget someone is monitoring this room on the security system? Isaac fell silent. Outside the OR, in the viewing room, William sat with Carson. When will the complication occur? William asked. Carson replied. Right after the liver separation. I'll call for resuscitation to stop if Leon's heart dips below 50. William nodded. Perfect. I'll head to the airport shortly. Everything set. 9:26 a.m., operating room. The scalpel slid through the liver tissue. Blood oozed. Claire shouted. Clamp. Clamp number 3. Isabel handed her the clamp. Claire clamped tight. Her hand didn't shake. Thomas called out. Leon's heart rate, 59. Claire. Not yet. The main artery's still intact. If we stop now, it's over. Isaac snapped. Are you done clamping or not? If not, I'm cutting. Claire gritted her teeth. You touch that blade again and I swear I'll report you to every pediatric surgical board in the country. This time it's my call. 9:44 a.m. Suddenly, Louis's heart rate dropped too. Both monitors flashed red. Thomas yelled. Louis 64, Leon 47. Both are crashing. Isabel screamed. Claire. We're losing them both. Claire tore off her gloves, leaned over both babies. Stop the separation. Dual resuscitation. Start forced ventilation. Thomas. What? No one's ever done that. Do it, now. Claire shouted. 2 ventilator tubes were attached. Claire began chest compressions with both hands out of sync, alternating. 1 for Louis. 1 for Leon. Don't stop. The entire OR held its breath. No more scalpels. No more cuts. Only the sound of a long, piercing beep. Then. Beep. 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 2 heartbeats. Separate. Not synchronized. But alive. Isabel burst into tears. Thomas collapsed to the floor. Isaac stood frozen. Outside the OR, William slammed the desk. What the hell is happening? Why isn't there a death report yet? Carson stammered. I don't know. They stopped midway and, they did something, off protocol. William roared. Stop the surgery. Shut it down. Call the administrator. But it was too late. Inside the OR, Claire held the 2 tiny infants now lying apart each in separate incubators. 2 distinct heartbeats. Isabel whispered. They're alive. Claire, they're really alive. Claire looked up at the camera. You didn't kill them, William. Not this time. 9:57 a.m., Springfield County General Hospital. The air in the OR still hadn't calmed. Sweat, blood, breath, and tears mixed in the sound of unsteady heartbeats from 2 tiny souls. Louis and Leon were no longer G-24A divided by B. They were separated. Surviving. Claire knelt beside the incubators, her arms limp, trembling but refusing to let go. Thomas shouted. They made it. Independent heartbeats. Both of them. My God. I've never seen anything like it. Isaac, hands still stained with blood, stood stunned. Impossible. No case. No precedent. Isabel wept, covering her face. A miracle, this is a miracle. Claire, exhausted, eyes shining like sunlight through storm clouds. No. This is science, guided by belief. We didn't choose who lives. We saved them both. Viewing room. William punched the wall, screaming. They ruined everything. That girl Claire, she defied the surgical order. She's going to kill them. Carson swallowed hard. But, they survived. Both of them. We can't. Shut up. William hissed. They weren't supposed to live. They're evidence. They're a stain. The sound of the door opening cut through the room. 4 uniformed police officers entered. William Grant. He turned around. I'm overseeing a medical operation you have no right to. One officer raised an arrest warrant. By order of the Superior Court of California, you are under arrest for charges of rape, incest, attempted murder, and falsification of medical records. William stood frozen. Then he shouted. I'm the mayor. I funded this whole damn hospital. Another officer replied coldly. Now, you're a suspect. At the same time, in the recovery room. Louis and Leon were placed separately in incubators, each with independent monitors. Claire gently opened one incubator and placed her finger into baby Louis's tiny palm. He curled his fingers and gripped hers softly. Isabel's voice cracked. Oh God. He's responding. Stable pulse. Eyes starting to flutter. Thomas looked over at Leon. Steady heartbeat. Good muscle tone. They don't need sedation anymore. Claire whispered. We didn't just save 2 children. We proved that justice doesn't need a scalpel, just courage. 1:22 p.m., Ridgeview Psychiatric Center. Head nurse Lauren opened the door to Anna's room. Anna sat blankly on the bed, eyes empty. After a moment, she asked. Are they alive? Lauren smiled through tears and nodded. Both of them. Louis and Leon. They're both alive. Claire kept her promise. Anna raised her hands to cover her mouth and collapsed to the floor. I'm not dreaming. I'm not dreaming. 2 days later. The front page of the Liberty Tribune bore the headline. The Springfield County Miracle, both conjoined infants survive historic surgery. Below was a photo of the incubator's 2 babies lying apart, their hands touching through the transparent barrier. Not just a medical breakthrough, but proof that truth and humanity can triumph over the darkest forces. The mother, Anna Grant, has been vindicated. Dr. Claire, who led the vital signs monitoring, is now a symbol of ethical bravery in medicine. Emergency courtroom session, County Courthouse. Judge Lucas Turner held the DNA test results, statements from Claire, Anna, and the attending physicians. There is sufficient basis to prosecute William Grant. Charges include incest, rape, unlawful detainment, destruction of evidence, and attempted murder. Prosecutor Martha Sanders asked. Do we have a direct testimony from Anna? Yes. Recorded. Legally valid. Verified by her psychiatric physician. She's fully lucid. Good. This case must go public. No plea deals. No leniency. The media exploded. William's name flooded every newspaper, broadcast, and social media feed. Thousands of citizens signed a petition demanding his removal from all public office, the stripping of his titles, and the seizure of his assets. Inside the recovery room. Claire sat beside Anna. Anna had been temporarily discharged to visit her children for the first time. She approached the 2 incubators, hands trembling as she placed them on the glass. Louis. Leon. Mommy's here. I'm here now. The babies stirred slightly, their eyes fluttered open. Louis moved gently. Leon parted his lips as if to suckle air. Claire whispered. They waited for you. No one will ever separate them again. Anna broke down, her hands gripping the incubator glass. They are me, the parts of me torn away in hell, now they've returned. Meanwhile, William was placed in solitary confinement due to high risk of assault. But that didn't stop the inmates in Unit G from finding out who he was. You the guy who raped his own niece? Asked a Basque inmate holding a meal tray. William growled. I'm the mayor. I'll sue every one of you. The tray slammed into his face. He dropped, blood spurting from his mouth. Footsteps echoed across the room. Another inmate, Jake Razor, kicked him hard in the ribs. Morals, huh? Preaching in church, then injecting your niece. Eat this. Here's your sermon. He was beaten for 3 consecutive nights. 2 ribs fractured. Left cheekbone cracked. No one defended him. A week later. Anna sat in the rehabilitation room, holding her sons. Louis slept quietly on her left shoulder. Leon looked around with curious eyes, waving his arms. Claire entered with a bottle of warm milk and a folder. Warm milk. And new birth certificates. Louis Grant. Leon Grant. Official sons of Anna. Anna looked at the papers like they were treasures. No one can take them from me now, right? Claire smiled and shook her head. No one. Not ever again. Anna held her children tightly, tears streaming down her face. No one will separate you anymore. Mommy will love each of you like the missing pieces of her soul. The front yard of Springfield County General Hospital was bathed in morning sunlight. A soft breeze rustled the old willow trees, leaves falling rhythmically, as if signaling that something had ended, and something new had just begun. Inside the neonatal recovery room, the incubators had been removed. Louis and Leon lay in separate bassinets, wrapped in soft cream-colored blankets. Eyes wide open. Skin rosy. Each breath they took was living proof that they had defeated death. Anna walked in no longer in a hospital gown, no restraints, no sedatives. Today, she wore a simple gray knit dress. Her hair was neatly tied. Though her eyes still held some shadows, they had life again. Claire smiled and held out both hands. Which one do you want to hold first? Anna paused for a moment, then smiled gently, her first real smile in 2 years of hell. Both. I'm their mother. I don't choose. Isabel carefully handed her Louis. Thomas carried Leon. Anna pulled both children into her chest, sobbing. My babies. I'm sorry. I didn't come sooner. I thought I wouldn't live long enough to hold you. Claire sat down beside the bed, voice soft. That day, when I thought their hearts might stop. I thought of you. I thought, if I fail, this mother will lose everything. And I couldn't bear that. Anna nodded, whispering. I know. I felt it. From the deepest part of me. You didn't just save my babies. You saved me too. That morning, Springfield County Courthouse was packed. Outside, reporters crowded in. National news was present. Citizens lined both sides of the entrance, holding signs. Justice for Anna. William Grant must pay. No mercy for incestuous rapists. An armored vehicle pulled up. The door opened. William stepped out in light gray prison clothes, hands cuffed, eyes sunken. A faint scar was visible under his chin from a failed suicide attempt. The crowd erupted. Monster. Hanging yourself doesn't fix it. Look at him, that's evil's face. He bowed his head, escorted by police inside. Courtroom 1. Judge Lucas Turner sat sternly, flipping through files. On both sides, Prosecutor Martha Sanders and defense attorney Matthew Taylor were ready. Martha stood. Your Honor, today we present a case of symbolic weight. A man of power and prestige, a sitting mayor, raped his own niece, attempted to kill 2 innocent lives, and used money and influence to bury the evidence. But he failed. Because conscience still exists. Because there are people like Dr. Claire. And because justice never stays silent for long. Behind her, Claire gently squeezed Anna's hand. William was brought to the witness stand. Judge Turner asked, "Do you have any statement before deliberation?" William raised his head. His voice hoarse. "I do not deny Anna was pregnant. But I deny it was rape. She lived in my house. She didn't say a word for nearly a year. If I were truly the monster the press paints me as, why didn't she flee sooner?" Murmurs spread throughout the courtroom. Anna stood up. "I didn't run, because I wasn't a person anymore. I was a pet. A broken doll. And he knew that. Every time I cried, he injected me. Every time I screamed, he shoved cloth in my mouth. I didn't speak, because I had no voice left." Judge Turner nodded. The court records her testimony. Sentencing. Judge Lucas Turner stood, voice firm. Based on physical evidence, DNA results, witness statements, hospital video records, and financial data tracing attempts to suppress the surgical case. This court finds William Grant guilty of rape of a direct blood relative, unlawful detention, attempted murder, abuse of public office, falsification of medical records, witness intimidation. The courtroom held its breath. The court sentences: 38 years in prison without parole. Confiscation of all personal assets transferred since 2018. Revocation of all honors and state-awarded distinctions. Permanent registration as a sex offender and incest perpetrator. Lifetime ban from holding any public or private office. Applause erupted across the courtroom. Anna cried. Claire embraced her and whispered, "He's no longer the shadow following you." A month later, the press published the final headline about William. William Grant, former mayor of Redwood Hills, dies in a California state prison 3 months into his sentence. Autopsy confirmed death by self-strangulation with a shoelace in solitary confinement. No public mourning observed. Beneath the article, thousands of comments. Justice has prevailed. The preacher now receives judgment. Anna, we believe you. Spring returned to Redwood Hills. At St. Mary's Preschool, a banner was raised. Welcome Louis and Leon, our little miracles. Isabel, in a white dress, stood watching the 2 boys playing with wooden blocks, her eyes glistening. Thomas approached and asked softly, "You still cry every time you see them?" "No," Isabel replied. "I cry because for the first time I see something called hope." A small room in Anna's newly rented apartment. She sat beside the bed, her 2 babies sleeping side by side. One clutched her finger, the other hugged a blanket, smiling in his sleep. Claire knocked and entered, holding 2 bags of toys. Gifts from pediatrics. Disinfected, WHO-approved toys, thank you very much. Anna smiled as she took them, then said softly, "Claire, if one day I'm no longer here, will you help raise them?" Claire tilted her head. "No. Because you will always be here. But if you ever need me, I'll be the strictest aunt in all of America." The 2 women, one once labeled insane, the other reckless, laughed together. That night, for the first time in her life, Anna slept beside her children. There were no nightmares. No sudden jolts. No screaming in the dark. Only the sound of infant breathing. The scent of baby hair. And heartbeats slow, steady, safe, everlasting. This story stands as a painful yet profound reminder. Truth can be buried, justice can be delayed. But as long as someone dares to rise, As long as love refuses to give up, darkness cannot win forever. It reminds us that even if systems rot, reputations deceive, and human hearts grow cruel, courage, medical ethics, and maternal love are indestructible. To choose silence is to aid evil. To speak up is to hold on to hope. For an entire world.
If you enjoyed this story, we invite you to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Your support motivates us to keep bringing heartwarming stories almost every day. We are very grateful for your support. See you soon.